ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest here in the building for the Just Acting Up show, Mr. Kevo, the actor, Kevin Saunders. Give him a hand.
Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Man, appreciate you for joining us bright and early like the orange juice, bro.
No problem, man. No problem.
Appreciate it, man. Now, so we was looking at everything that you've done, and you've done like a plethora of things. I mean, from from like your IMDb is crazy, bro. From like Dope Stick to Champ to Doom Patrol, so much more. We're gonna get into all that. But first, let's get to know Kevo the actor first. So tell us what got you started on your journey.
Oh man. So it's interesting. So I always wanted to, typical story. I've always wanted to act since I was a kid. I did want to act ever since I was a kid, but it was one of those things that was kind of like, just a dream, kind of, all right, that's something I want to do, but it never was really something I pursued in my youth. So, I went to school for psychology. I wanted to actually open up my own practice, to be able to help people. That was really my biggest thing, is how can I help people out? But then I got to a point where I was acting in college. I actually had a advisor of mine trick me, because I was like, I kind of, the theater scene was not that's something I didn't really grow up in it. I wasn't that theater kid in high school and stuff. I wasn't always, I was a class clown, but I was never like that, always in theater, but it was something I always admired. So I got to college, got tricked into taking this class. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll do tech, And it's funny too, when you love something, it's almost like you kind of keep it over there. Like, like, I don't really know. I really love that thing, but I don't know if I want to, afraid of rejection or whatever from it. So I was kind of thrown into it as as a thing to do. And I got that acting bug, and I did my first show in college. And then really after that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna finish, but I realized at some point that, although I wanted to help people, I realized that I wasn't going to be fulfilled doing psychology, and I was like, yeah, the acting is what fills the soul. So, yeah, man, I've been doing it since, and it's been a blessing. So I've been having fun. I've been having fun.
What's more challenging, do you think, performing on stage or performing on screen?
It's interesting, man. I feel like they're two different beasts in some ways. I will say, I think an easy answer probably would be stage, because you don't have the cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that. And once the show starts, like it's on, So I love the stage. A lot of your favorite actors, that you see on screen actually prefer it. I know Denzel definitely goes back quite a bit. Samuel Jackson actually says he prefers the stage over filming. I mean, he's been like over 400 credits, on IMDb. So it's kind of interesting when you see that. But I think the cool thing about, stage is that you do have to sharpen that muscle. If I mess up on a line on, film, it's like, all right, let's take it back, whatever. But you're on stage, show must go on. So you can't stop when people are out there and, they paid their tickets to make sure that you're on your A game. So yeah. So I probably would say stage. Yeah.
Cool. Let's step away from acting a little bit. I see you go to the gun range. So when was the last time that you go? I mean, you went to the gun range, and are you good with the rifles or handgun? Which one do you prefer? Because this is Texas, and we're big on our guns here.
Yeah. It's been a minute, and I had a friend that had bought some. So I was gonna start training and helping her train, stuff like that. And she bought some bullets. She literally just said the other day, she was like, "You're supposed to take me to the gun range." And I was like, "Oh shoot, that's right." That's something I took on. I think at the end of 2019. I'm from the north, so I'm from DC. So people that
Yeah.
had guns up there, two different lifestyles, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the western part of Maryland, we're all, the country boys were at. Like, I lived out there for a little bit. So, that's what I kind of got exposed to, that side of it, where it was like, okay, these guys are hunters and things like that. So, but when I came down here, it's like everybody and their grandma has one. So it was just kind of one of those things where, I'm a big sports guy. So like, I kind of started to see it as a sport. And so I started off training with the handguns. My buddy Jared actually, who kind of started training me, and then elevated to the rifle. I think I prefer rifles. Because they're big guns too. So I probably say rifle. But it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, and let me tell you, as I'm sure y'all know, bullet prices went up.
Yeah.
So expensive hobby. It is an expensive hobby to do, man. So I had to kind of slow down a little bit. But it's fun though.
Listen, when I first went to the gun range, this was a long time ago, and I asked the guy over the phone, I said, "How old do you have to be to go to the gun range?" He said, "Sir, this is Texas. This is Texas."
Fresh out the womb, you can just go out there. You good.
He said, "If you're old enough to hold like a tool, you get old enough to hold a gun." So
go.
Good.
Man, yes, sir. Man,
That's
was. Go ahead, Chris.
I was just saying that was kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, look, it was, again, like, coming from, we call it the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, like, it's different. Like, it's a very different thing. So, like, it was kind of, like, taboo for me when I first started coming, but like also I'm big into being authentic, especially on camera too. So that was another reason why I started to train as well, is because like I'm like, all right, there are certain roles that I want to do, certain things, and I have a lot of buddies in the stunt community as well. So I wanted it to be more accurate, as well. So that was another big reason for why I'm like, okay, cool. This is kind of a cool hobby. But also I really was like, how can I transition this to film? So now knowing a lot about it, I do actually watch films like John Wick is probably one of the more accurate gun depiction and like action movies. Cause but then when it's just kind of like one of those things, like whenever you first get into film, like, and that veil's lifted, you can never watch a bad film anymore and turn it off.
Right.
It's there. You're like, okay, there's a boom, and okay, all right, there's a person standing back. You're noticing all these things. So like now, like, I was watching the show the other day, and this dude had like a regular pistol and let off like 100 rounds. It's like, when is it going to stop? He kind of start to have that veil lifted. But again, because I also make movies as well. Yeah, trying to be authentic to that as well in the process. It's something that has helped me in that way too. So yeah,
man, that's dope though, because like I was telling other actors that okay, you want to have a certain range, like from dramatic to comedic, and we see that you have range. And so I was telling others, you want to do other things too to show, these different agencies or people that looking at you, what you can do. Like, for example, I swam with some sharks, some baby sharks, whatever. And
man.
Yeah, bro. Like,
look, black people don't swim already.
I was just about to say
sharks.
Hey,
he's swimming sharks.
Like you, bro, you took it up, man. Way up. Oh man, but it is that, and sword training and everything else. And me and Mike did a little bit of stunt training, and it's like you were saying, that veil is lifted, and it's good to know these things because you want to be able to act this scene out and then switch right back into handling these weapons and everything, and it just increases your thought process on your mindset, how to attack these scenes. So man, that's dope that you do that though.
Yeah, and honestly, because the biggest thing with me too was depth, right? How can not just differentiate myself, but how can because I want to have a career like a Gary Oldman or people that are very like, you look at their array of work and you're like, oh, they've done some stuff, and no knock to anybody else that's kind of like in like a certain lane. But even my agent, when I got my new agent last year, I was like, hey, look, like, I know I'm a big black dude, but it's like I can do this much more, but also bringing stuff to the table as well, understanding things. And, like the fact that y'all, are doing stunts too. What happens is not only looking at it from the perspective of, okay, here's what I bring to the table, but also it can protect you because, I mean, obviously there have been things that have happened in the industry, recently,
Right.
and, it's having that other sense of, you know what? I'm not really feeling safe about this. I know from my training that X, Y, and Z should be happening, and this is not happening here. I'm going to take my step back to be like, you know what, this is not okay. Or you can make the environment more safe for yourself, the other actor, or just people on set as well. To be able to do that. So, like Will Smith actually has a lot of gun training. He doesn't like glamorize it, but I remember when they were doing Bad Boys 3, the director, there's like a funny little clip he put on his Instagram. But I was kind of like, I was like, there you go, because the director had picked up the gun or whatever, and like, kind of, just fake gun.
That.
Yeah, you seen that clip?
Yeah.
And the fake gun. So he's like, okay, cool. And he like Will Smith like smacked it out of his hand, checked it, and was like, you have poor gun training. Like you shouldn't do that, And I mean, it was very lighthearted, but I mean, the truth is things like that can happen. But again, being that he was trained, being that like, he has that history that protects himself, but also can protect his, other people there too.
Right. Amen and amen again, bro. So so quick question.
Yeah.
Besides winning Best Male Actor in a film for Kung Pao Corpse, love that name, by the way. What has been Kevin's biggest achievement so far, man?
Oh man, let's see, man. Okay, so there's two. I mean, and there's two big ones. I mean, I'm forever humble. Every role that I get, man, I'm forever humble. But there's two probably, and I know it was a simple, part, but I think about the effect that it had. But I definitely will say Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was a big one for me, because when I first left, Maryland to come down here, I left my job and everything like that because I knew what I wanted to do, and I just remember, I'll never forget too, this I don't thrive too much on negativity. I've realized in my adult life, you can't have, you don't have as much depth with it, it's very temporary. So you have to thrive off, other things and that motivate you. But I never forget my boss, he was like the head of the department, and I was good at my job, but I spoke my mind. So he didn't really like that. But I was the best. So, and I would say that very humbly, but it was what it was. But he had said whenever I left, he looked me up and down and was like, who do you think you are, Will Smith or something? You know what I'm saying? So I remember him saying that to me when I left, and I was like, something like that. And I say that because when I got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, for one, it was in 2020. Everything was shut down. Everybody was depressed. It was like, look, man, I thought this was only going to last 2 weeks. I play video games, and now it's been 7 months. Like, come on, still in the pandemic too. But, so I got that role, which is also another thing I want to speak on. Yeah. And I think I've said this other times too, is that, in Bryan Cranston, I'm going to quote him, you auditioned for the career, not the job, right? So I auditioned for Falcon and the Winter Soldier June of 2019 for one of the folks that Anthony Mackie sees whenever he first goes back to New Orleans that were working on the docks. Didn't get it. Fast forward to a year and a half later, they're looking to fill different roles and stuff, but because the casting directors knew me, because they knew my work and also that I auditioned for it, they gifted me that, so to speak. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, we have a role that we need to be filled. Let's do it. So having that role, it's like, wow, Kev, you're in the MCU now.
Yeah.
All the work that you had put in, whether it be small, because a lot of people don't realize that, you can people outside of the industry don't realize. I mean, that person that says, "Oh, the ketchup's on table 5," and goes away. They had to audition for that. They had to like get put in for that, to some capacity, and they had to beat out sometimes 1,000, 2,000 of people to be able to get that role. So, but it was interesting to be able to get that. And then when it came out the day after my birthday. of 2021. And I just remember, you know, the kind of everyone blew up my phone, you know, seeing it, you know, people were watching it way before I even did, you know, but I remember people from my old job. And I thought about my boss in that sense. And I was like, wow, this is a big accomplishment, you know, because like, yo, you're actually doing what you set out to do. And then kind of in that same vein too was Atlanta. You know, Atlanta was, I said it from the day I moved down. I was like, I'm going to get on the show. I understand the comedy. I love it. And, you know, I was like, I want to work towards getting here. I had one audition for that show. One audition, because when I came down, season 2 was coming out. Then I heard, you know, season 3 was supposed to be coming out. Then 2020 hit and all this stuff. I had one audition with my new agency, and I booked the role, man. And I mean, talk about like, you know how like when you set out to do something, or like, you know, that Christmas you envision in your head, and then you get everything that you want and then some, you know what I mean? It's like that. So it was like, you know, I got there, I got it, and it was like, it was so much love. It was such a family. It was everything I wanted. Me and Lakeith had some great conversations, like, you know, just talking about the industry in general. Hero directed that episode. And, you know, since I direct as well, you know, they had actually asked if I could stay afterwards and watch his process. And they were just so giving, so just open and so chill, man. Like it was. And then to make it before the show, and to actually just watch the finale last night, man, it was sad to see.
Yeah. Man.
But again, you know, one of those things I can humbly say, like, man, like I actually got on it before, and you set out to do what you said you were going to do. So those were two big for me. Those are two big ones for me for sure.
Oh, that's definitely an iconic show. It's great that you're able to be a part of it. Like we'll be talking about that show for years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. And I mean, I was even thinking about this, like when I watched the finale too. I'm like, this is not to discredit, you know, the hard work they've put in, but like, you know, you look at how Atlanta really put those. I mean, Donald Glover kind of was already kind of making a name for himself already, but like, and the key was, I mean, everyone was in their own right, but that really made a pivotal, you know, like stance in all of their careers, especially those top 4 in the cast, you know, Zazie Beetz and, you know, and Lakeith and Brian Tyree Henry. Like, I mean, it really, like, I mean, it made them blow up, you know? So it's crazy.
Now, you're also on one of my favorite shows on Netflix, Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I was like, you know, you didn't tell him to let you have a face off against Stingray. I'm just saying, just throw that out there.
Hey, look, man, I'm putting a good word for me. I'll write them too, man. That'd be fun. That also was a cool one too, because like, again, I'm a huge fan of the show as well. And my one of my friends, he was like, yo, you're like collecting like all your Infinity Stones of all these shows here. But I do have like my Atlanta shows that I'm like, yo, before they're over, I want to get on them. My other 2 pivotal ones were The Walking Dead and Stranger Things. I can't get on The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead ended already, so unfortunately they do have spinoffs, but they didn't make the actual show. But I still got, you know, fingers crossed for Stranger Things. But Cobra Kai was one of them, and it was cool because in that scene, you know, to open up, I mean, everybody was there, like all the core, like, you know, adult cast was there, and it was like, oh shoot, that's like Ralph Macchio, like, you know, after like these guys are, and they were super cool, super cool. Like everyone was you can definitely tell it's been a family of people, and they were like very open, very welcoming. They invited me out afterwards and stuff. It was really cool, man. Just really cool people.
That's dope, man. And speaking of Ralph Macchio, people keep tripping up over the fact that this dude is 60 years old, bro. Like, bro, I'm like, wait, what? Because if we forget how young, or like before our time, or around that time when we were about to get created to come into this earth,
yeah,
he was right there, you know, Friday Kid it up, and was like, oh, duh, he is a baby, and
And I think he actually did when he did Karate Kid. when a lot of people were like, young teens, or I think he was like 23 or 24 when he did.
Right.
Karate
He
Kid.
said that.
Yeah,
he said like
and so we're thinking like, okay, he's like a 16-year-old kid at the time. Like, no, he's a man. You know what I mean? So,
man, I'm telling. Oh my gosh, dude!
He just got a book that came out too. Actually, my old roommate just bought it. He has a book that just came out. That's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I need to look into that as well too.
Yeah.
Man. So let's see. So speaking of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
So for actors, all of us, we know how long these scenes can go on for, and you just had like a real quick couple of lines, couple of words. Tell us how long did that scene take to film? So people can know exactly how these things go.
Yeah. Well, we also were in the thick of COVID too, so that was so I'll tell you. So all right, I'm gonna give it, and I'll be rapping too sometimes, so I'll be talking for a while. So I apologize.
No, you good.
So when I first got it, I think it was like a week to film. I think I got booked it on like Tuesday or Monday, and then they wanted me that following Tuesday. Okay, so there was that. I had to test like every other day in between, because that's when we were in the thick of COVID before vaccines and stuff like that. So it was boom, 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 boom. Well, then it rained. It was rain. We had rain delays those 2 days or whatever, because they wanted me on like a Tuesday and a Thursday, or Tuesday and a Wednesday. And so I pushed it another week. All right. So then I get there and it's a night shoot. So, y'all know how night shoots go. Like you're going to be there all night, So, so this one, I think it was a quicker night shoot for me. I came there, got to my trailer. You know how it is. Hurry. And then you just have to wait around. So, hurry, just to wait around. So I got there. I think I had to be there at like 8 or 9, anywhere between 8 and 9 or 10 or whatever. Sat in my trailer for a while. By the way, Disney trailers, whether you saying one word or two, whatever, they got some nice trailers. All right, they nice, So
gotcha.
When I got on that set, that was like, I think at the time was one of the first biggest sets that I've been on. I was like, oh, so this is what $400 million looks like. This is where this money is going. So yeah, I think my call time was like 8 or something like that. I actually got to set by like 12 or 1. And then I think we finished filming around like 3. Fun fact about that. So I saw Sebastian Stan. I was passing him, and they were doing the stunt where he was like falling down and off the thing, and he grabs it with his hand. Anthony Mackie wasn't there, and they gave him the night off. So I was watching the air. It was like wide open air. I didn't see him in his suit. None of that.
Yeah.
But I will say this though. There's another project coming out. Especially guys around our age. I think I can assume that we were definitely fans of it. I can't say what it is, but we were fans of it. Mackie's attached to it, and I got a chance to work with him on that face to face. And it's funny because he was like, "Where do I know you from?" And I was like, "He's like, Louisiana." So Louisiana. I was looking very Creole down there, looking like brothers and sisters of everyone down there. So he was like, "I thought I went to college with somebody." I was like, "No, actually, I knighted you as Captain America." And he's like, "Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense." So we did get a chance to work with each other. It was a funny thing because people thought like, "Oh man, how was it working with Mackie? You were there with them. You saw the suit." I'm like, boy,
yeah. Movie magic right there that people don't know about, man. But that's still dope, man. To say that you like I was the one that knighted you. No, that's Captain America. I remember the lines too. I'm like, that's really dope. And I was like, that is you. So yeah, that was dope, man. That was freaking dope, man.
So, he's that guy that did the thing, that said the thing.
Yeah, right. That brother right there. Yeah.
Oh man, too funny, man.
So when you're not working, right? When you're not working, what do you like to do off screen, like in your downtime?
I like to take walks in the park, and no, no,
The Valiant.
these days, man, because like I told you, I produce my own content and create as well. I've gotten to a point in my life where I realize, especially now, you know what I mean? I don't have any kids, I'm not married or anything like that. So I try to be in a space of creativity as much as possible. Now, obviously, I do have my times where I hang out with friends, we grab wine and things like that. I have my chill time, but I really try to stay in the space of creativity. By God's grace, this year I've been very busy, but I've been really pushing, man, to just create content. And I if I can say anything to actors, man, is create your own content. Learn. And I know sometimes a lot of actors, they're like, well, I don't know how to use this stuff. I don't know how to do stuff. But the cool thing is, which I say actors have kind of an advantage over other people, is that we get a chance to be on multiple sets. So we're meeting a lot more people. And a lot of people that are working these different jobs and stuff, like, that grip that's working, he actually wants to be a DP. He owns his own stuff. He has the ability to actually do that stuff, but he's working his way through to fund his project and or learn under X, Y, and Z to get to that point. So he also wants that outlet as well. So I tell actors, I'm like, look, network when you're on. I mean, obviously respectfully though, but network, talk to these people and stuff, and build your tribe, so to speak. So a lot of times, that's what I'm doing is I'm trying to create content. There's a couple things I'm actually working on right now. I'm working to have my first SAG short that we're doing. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
a lot of paperwork is expensive, because and then with COVID protocols too, a lot of people don't know. I've had some friends that have been unable to make SAG films just because all the COVID, compliance and stuff like that. It gets expensive. I tell they said originally whenever they first were doing all this stuff that 10% of a film or TV show's budget is going to go to COVID compliance. And people are like, that's a little, no, it's not much. It's a little high. Think about it. So, I'm sure y'all know this, but, for every COVID test, like on a non-working day, it's $250 that's
Right.
one actor. That's one actor. That's not all the hand sanitizer you got to get, all the gloves, paying the people to actually do this stuff. So, when you look at these sets, you're like, oh, okay, this gets expensive. But, so I do know a lot of independent filmmakers, it gets a little bit more difficult because you do have to kind of go through certain, channels to be able to do that. But yeah, again, I'm rapping right now. But, what I try to do is I try to definitely create my own content and just really stay in a place of creativity. Training. I cannot stress this enough. If there's any actor or aspiring actor or anybody that's listening, train. I got asked a lot recently, should I go to acting class? I answer it simply like this. Does a pro athlete need to still go to the gym?
Right. Right.
If you say no, then there's a problem there. But it's very simple. But, LeBron James is still going to the gym. He's still taking his body very seriously and stuff. So actors should go to the gym too. But the big thing is like your metaphorical gym is your training. And how you can stay in a place of growth and consistently, diversifying yourself and having depth. I shared it on my Instagram a while back, you guys might have seen, but a big part of where kind of I've been pushing to, I remember Don Cheadle had said that, some people get lucky and then they find out that they have no depth to who they are, and then they just kind of get pushed aside. It's like, I want to get an opportunity, be ready for it, and then say, oh, I have this too. Hence, we were talking about the training and stuff as well earlier, and gun training and stuff like that. So yeah. I hope I'm answering y'all's questions. Again,
no.
You are.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'd like to give you the platform to be able just to talk, and just you giving us information and you helping us out as well.
And then there's these spaceships that, you know, come down. He's like, I don't know what he's talking about anymore. This man's just rapping.
And you know what? What's it like? Hey, man, you ain't talking about some spaceships?
I know. I'm like, oh, let me get
I
my.
ain't never been to outer space yet. No, man. Hey, no, we tell people all the time that come on here and share these things with us. Thank you so much for, you know, being vulnerable enough to share these things, because they're not just us and not just for you, but there are others out there that are like trying to still figure this thing out. We're all still trying to figure this thing out.
Right.
It helps with knowing these steps or knowing, like, you know, your struggles, your highs, your lows, and getting there. So everything that you're sharing with us, man, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. So moving on to the next question, man. I remember seeing this on your IG, bro. You said you had like a blast doing this, and it looked like it was fun. The Better Cream commercial, bro.
Yeah.
That looked like it was comedic gold, and the way how you handled it, your way you was doing it, just writing like, okay, yeah, that's what you want. And like, what's up, Better Cream? Yeah. So was that one of your favorite commercials to do so far?
It definitely was one of my favorite, man. For multiple reasons. And I'll share something else with this as well too. Just a little backstory. So I was like one. So this is for everyone listening that might not know how commercials go. You can be the director's favorite, producers and everybody's, but it really comes down to what the client wants. At the end of the day, it comes down to what the client wants and who they want in each roles and stuff like that, you know. So casting director would do their part, director and all these people kind of do it, but at the end of the day, it's really what the client wants and all sorts of stuff. And, you know, obviously the director has a lot of play with that too, but, you know, the client, you know, client. So I was like the neck and neck. It was the number one, number two for that part. So someone else actually got that part, but they ended up getting COVID. Sadly, you know. So I tell actors all the time, you know, I'm not going to get into a whole tangent about this, but I still wear my mask when I go out and things like that, because stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. You know what I mean? And I've had a busy enough year where it's like I'm just trying to stay ready. You know what I mean? So. So I ended up getting that part, and my homegirl Brittany was the woman in the commercial with me. So it was cool to finally act alongside. Like, when you get to act alongside your friends, it's like, it's cool, you know, especially because, you know, you see them outside things, you know, but when you're like, okay, we're going to work together, it's a cool process. So the director Tom was awesome, you know, the wardrobe, makeup, I mean, all those folks were super awesome, and then I'm starting to see them again on different sets and things, but it was a blast, man. It was such a funny, just obscure, like hilarious commercial for some whipped cream, you know, for ice cream or icing for cakes and stuff. But it was a blast, and funny enough, actually the guy who was in the whippy suit is actually he does the mascot for the Atlanta Braves. So he runs their Twitter, is in the suit, everything. So it was kind of cool to talk to him and see. He's like, yeah, you know, sometimes I get booked for gigs like this, but this is kind of my thing. I hop on these suits and I just have fun, you know. So he was crazy to work with too, and a lot of Whoopi's coverage actually was done after I left. So some of it, like that you see, like with Brittany and stuff in it, that he was there, but all the by the way, they cut out a lot too. There was supposed to be like a disco ball. We were supposed to be dancing. It was a bunch of crazy stuff we were supposed to do in that commercial, man. But you know, you have those like 15 to 30 second spots, you know, that, you know, sometimes certain things you got to cut out, but it was a blast, man. Everybody. And certain actors too, I will say, certain actors and my folks, I know my folks listening right now, grinds my gears, because they always are like, I don't want to be a commercial actor. Let me tell you something. All right.
Oh man, hey man,
pay the bills.
Send those commercials our way.
Send those commercials our way, since y'all don't want them.
You know, commercials pay the bills, and let me tell you something. I have had obviously, you know, sets, you know, the bigger sets sometimes can be very stressful. You know, I've had the most fun and most freedom on commercial sets. Like I genuinely have, like, and so I tell people all the time, like, yo, don't sweat it, don't overthink it. You know, like, they're like, I don't want to be a Flo, or I don't want to be a Jake from State Farm. I was like, first of all, like, okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, they getting paid. So that can release some financial freedom for you, because especially if you get a full-scale SAG commercial that's running nationally like that, like Flo's a millionaire. Jacobs, he's a millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
not just only that, he goes to the Super Bowl for free.
you see what I'm
He
saying?
cool with Aaron Rodgers,
You
Patrick
know?
Mahomes. That man is made. He's
And
a
that's the
made
thing.
man.
Now, they might know him as that guy too, but that's the other thing too that some people fail to realize, is that they're still doing other things. And yes, I will say there is a point in certain people's careers where you're like, okay, maybe, you put certain boundaries on. Like, I personally, I don't want to, I can play thug roles and stuff like that, but I don't want my repertoire to be, hundreds of thugs. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's just me personally. So it's really what kind of career that you want to have. But, at the end of the day too, like people like Flo, though, that actually plays Flo, she does other stuff. If you look at her IMDb, she's done other stuff since she's been Flo. But it's interesting how they're able to, make her look as Flo, and then as she's able to be an actress in other things, people don't even realize it's her. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, do commercials, y'all. Look, make that money and have fun. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Unless it's that one commercial to be like, well, you have that itch that's right under your skin.
Yeah.
Commercials. Take this. Xylophone. Xylophone may cause,
You
were in love with that mesothelioma. Like, oh shit, oh man.
A Cialis commercial.
Exactly. Look, I'll do a hover around commercial or something like that. Look, I'll get on one of those little things. We'll hover around. Man, look. Let me do that. I'm with it.
Right?
You're like, can't get it up. Look at this guy.
Exactly.
Like, what? That was what the commercial was for?
Just your picture all on billboards and everything.
Oh man!
You remember on Lethal Weapon? I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie. I'm pretty sure everybody did, but that commercial where they all waited around the TV because the daughter was in, and he was all excited. It was a condom commercial.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And Mel Gibson's character, I forgot his name. He said, "I actually think she did pretty good, Rod."
That's my daughter, man.
That's my daughter.
Hey, look, sometimes, look, man, look, they're like, hey, we're gonna pay you, $20,000 straight up, and we're gonna run this. And you don't give resistance. You're like,
yeah,
might have to do that condom commercial. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to do that condom commercial.
You know what I'm saying?
Straight up, man.
Just one last question. Who are some of the people, or who is on your top list of people that you want to work with in the future?
Oh man. So actor wise, I mean, there's a huge list. I would love. I mean, like these are some of the top people on my list. I would love to work with Will Smith. Would love to work with Will Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks. Like those three. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Denzel and all these people. I had a lot of pivotal people, but those three people, like I grew up watching. Like so they were in some of my favorite movies, and who didn't love Fresh Prince growing up, and seeing someone like Will, and it's like, wow, I can do that. Like when I saw these guys, and I liked Leo a little bit later because some of the movies that he was in, I started to watch a little bit older,
Right.
early teens. But like I watched, like especially Tom Hanks and Will Smith, and I was like, wow, like these guys are doing this, and I love their movies, and this is something I wanted to do. And of course, like then when I started to do more studying and watching different types of movies, the Don Cheadles, the different actors and stuff out there. Tom Hardy is honestly probably one of my, if not my favorite actor out here, like right now. I would love to work with Tom. Like I'd love to work with Tom Hardy, and then like guys around, our age, I love following John Boyega's, and especially as an actor as well too, an actor of color, seeing people like John Boyega and Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors actually I'm a big fan of his now, just kind of seeing his career develop. I mean, he's having one hell of a year this year and next year. He's going to be it's awesome just to see. But you could tell how, especially watching someone like that, how trained he is, you know, how trained he is, and how he really takes his craft seriously. So yeah, those are a few of some of the, you know, the actors. But like, I would love to work with Ryan Coogler, Barry Jenkins, you know, Spielberg, you know, some of the Tarantino. I would love to be in a Tarantino film. I'm sure I'd probably have a blast on that, you know.
Man.
And just learn, as well as from a director's perspective too, you know. Nolan, you know, Nolan is one of my favorite directors. I think if there's one director, like right now, probably my favorite, Spielberg's probably my all-time favorite, but like my favorite right now, and Coogler's was probably top 3 for me as well, but my favorite is probably Denis Villeneuve, who did he did you know, Sicario, Blade Runner 2049. Prisoners is one of my favorite movies in this last decade. That was fantastic. He did that as well. Dune, he did Dune as well. So he's just, I love his style as a director. Love his twists and things like that too, but also as an actor too. I would love to be in one of his masterpieces. So yeah, man, there's a lot of people on that list, but it's been cool. It's been cool to kind of, you know, come across some of the people that you look at, because I was following Lakeith Stanfield's career as well, because I think he's maybe got like a year or two on me. You know, he's around the same age, you know, so I would see other actors of color and just around my age and see, you know, how their careers have been developing. And, you know, it's kind of admirable to see, like, okay, hey, we're doing the same things, you know, and that's motivation to me, you know, when I see that, you know, and other people, and yeah, man, it's a cool thing, man. It's a cool thing. So yeah, those few are for sure some of many for sure.
Yeah. No, man, love him, man. You access our list go on and on and on, just like yours. So, man, thank you for sharing that, bro. So, yeah, man. So, you know, I wish we could keep talking, man. This is the part that I hate. We gotta let, you know, I guess go, because we know we gotta stay busy, keep auditioning, keep doing what you do. We handing you your flowers now, bro, because we see how you're progressing and continue to progress. Thank you for the hard work you put in. Thank you for taking the time out to share with us, bro. Many blessings to you and everything that you do, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me, man, and continue, man. I'm loving what y'all doing, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love y'all's grind, man. Y'all's passion for film and everything, bro. So yeah, I love it. I love it. We'll be at the top together, man. We'll be at the top together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
oh yeah.
We're gonna be like on that red carpet, bro. Sooner or later, we're gonna be like,
sure.
Absolutely.
right.
And your new name now is cousin Kevin.
Cousin Kevin. Hey,
yeah,
cool.
cousin Kevin. Everybody that come on this show is now your cousins now. So we got a big family.
Hey, look, I love it, man. Look, when I come out y'all's way, man, I'm gonna hit y'all up, man, for sure.
Most definitely. Most definitely, bro. I'll be out in Atlanta soon. Well, not soon, but I'll be out there.
Please, yeah, hit me up, man, for sure. Yeah.
Bro, that's a bet, man. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Kevo, the actor. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.